Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the show. So about a month ago, my computer completely died and we lost everything that we'd ever done for the channel. So we decided to take a little bit of time off and figure out what we wanted to do moving forward. And if you want more of an explanation, you can read the description below. We did want to take a quick minute to thank our Patreon supporter though. Seriously, that's amazing. And yeah, other than that, here's Mega Man X. So if you had to choose between the story, the characters, the music, the visuals, or the gameplay, what would you say is the best part of Mega Man X? What about the worst? For forever now, I didn't realize just how well this game did like all of this stuff until I finally sat down with it again the other night and played it for the first time in a super long time. I remembered it being fun for sure, but somehow just how deep and well-rounded it is was completely lost on me when I was a kid. We're gonna rank each part of it from the worst to the best, and then give our own overall score of it at the end. Alright, let's do this. Choosing what would come in last was honestly so hard for me, and I have to say that it goes to the story of Mega Man X, and only because the game spends the least amount of its time on it, and not really because it's bad or anything. Right as you start the game, it hits you with screens depicting a mechanical showcase of Mega Man, as it introduces Asimov's first law of robotics, which states that a robot may not injure a human being, or through an action, allow a human being to come to harm. So some huge nerd named Dr. Kane discovers Mega Man X in a stasis capsule, and with the newly discovered tech, he begins mass-producing Reploids, or robots that can think, feel, and make decisions for themselves. When a pocket of those Reploids inevitably turn bad, I mean honestly, what did we expect? A special task force of robots is assembled to hunt down these mavericks, who understandably have decided to kill literally the entire human race, because the humans were holding them back from their natural progression. Anyways, the leader of the anti-bad guy team was corrupted and turned to the dark side, forcing Mega Man to fight against the Robo who was once his strongest ally. Choosing sides, right and wrong, evolution, all this stuff is conflicting around inside of Mega Man's little circuitry, and he's left to decide if he should side with his own kind or with the people who created him. It's insane. The story is so good that I would have loved to see it more front and center of all the action instead of tucked so far into the background. But it makes sense because this game's main goal wasn't to tell an incredibly thorough and profound story. It was more about the gameplay and other stuff like that. So last place feels okay for the story. Fourth place goes to the music. What really stands out to me is how on point the musical cues are in this game. Right when you start the first level, the melody cuts right into the beat, leaving no time for build-up. And it's like, dude, I'm ready to go, but I actually might not be. This is way too intense. So many ridiculous drum fills and this ripping snare get my heart beating dangerously fast that I'm sure has nothing to do with my sedentary lifestyle that's teetering over a diabetic ledge. Well, I guess it could be both. And then when you run into Vile at the end of the level, the music shifts into boss mode and you're just getting completely wrecked, and then it goes completely silent. Just as Vile's about to crush you in his mech fist, Zero comes in out of nowhere, blasts his arm off, and his theme kicks in, and it's just like such an awesome moment completely made by the music. And that's just one example that happens right at the beginning of the game. The music has this way of being Saturday morning cartoony, but also threading in a threatening and heavy layer underneath it all. So while the music is all fun and catchy, it also keeps us on our toes and reminds us that one wrong move and we're probably dead. It also plays nicely with the theme of the game too. There's kind of a mechanical harshness to the timbre of the music. So while it takes inspiration from a lot of musical styles that we're familiar with, it adds a bit of an edge to them, like a conjoining of the organic contemporary and the distant futuristic. Also, I gotta draw people's attention to this, but in the first Sigma stage, there's slap bass. Dude, that's pretty sick. I only place the music so low because as much as I like it, I like the other stuff in the game that much more. And even though it starts to get some awesome variety near the end of the game, a lot of it through the first 75% of the game kind of blends together with only a couple of exceptions. But that's just my opinion. I'd totally understand if someone gets super mad and kills me in my sleep tonight because of my opinion about the music in Mega Man X. I've lived a pretty good life. In third place are the characters. Again, like the story, Mega Man X doesn't spend a whole lot of time developing its characters. But even though they're simple, their small arcs are important and intriguing. Mega Man, or I guess X as I should be calling him, is a compelling lead because he's given free will and as a robot chooses to fight against his own kind, drawing from his personal exploration and experience as a robot functioning in an increasingly robotic world. His friend Zero raises other existential quandaries like loss and sacrifice, and if robots are truly capable of that kind of thing. And we already kind of talked about Sigma and his group of maverick defectors who only want to fully realize their potential as what is, in many ways, a superior race to their creators. I mean, I can't say that I totally blame them, although they probably shouldn't be trying to kill everyone, I guess. Just like move or something, I don't know. And all these characters have sweet poses and colorful personalities, and they can convey their character even without any spoken word. There's something timeless about these characters' struggles and motivations, and Mega Man is such an easy guy to root for as the small robot facing himself and his much bigger enemies. Everything about each character works on every level of function and form, and the personality they inject into the futuristic city gives us players enough relatable and recognizable features to help make the new world comfortable for us to be in. My favorite robot character is of course the snowball thrower. I love the idea that there's some nefarious mechanic out there with limitless resources and came up with this as one of their combat forces. It's just stuff like this that makes me love video games. Second place goes to the gameplay. From purely a gameplay standpoint, Mega Man X is maybe the Super Nintendo game that's aged the best, and definitely one of my favorites. It does a great job at making you feel super powerful, but still being challenging, and no matter how strong Mega Man or his weapons get, it still demands that you get better and learn how to face each new challenge it throws at you from one level to the next. There are a ton of things that Mega Man X nails that all make the game greater than the sum of its parts. The super generous hitboxes take the edge off of the difficulty and make you feel like you're good at the game. The rock, paper, scissors design that makes exploring your skill sets as you get them worthwhile and fun to mess around with. And the freedom to pick which levels you want to do first or last. Upgrades that are hard to find, but not impossible with only a couple of small exceptions. The wall climbing mechanic that makes the platforming sections tough but forgiving. This game is built around making the player struggle and succeed at the same time, and it makes it so much fun. Any game that's both challenging but makes you feel like you're good at it and getting better is a success, and that's exactly how I feel playing Mega Man X. My one nitpick about it is that I wish the charge shot were a little bit less powerful, because that's really all I ever do with the Buster. It's kind of annoying to hold the charge button down for basically the whole game, and it makes the regular Buster shot feel pretty much worthless when I feel like it shouldn't. But that's pretty much the only complaint I have about the gameplay. In first place are the visuals. When I think about Mega Man X, the first thing that comes to my mind is how it looks. And that's what ultimately made me give it first place. Mega Man X is still kind of what I'm secretly hoping the future is gonna look like. Endless expanses of cyber-fueled cityscapes, but also a cool integration of all the future stuff, kind of braided over and through the nature in the world. It's so freaking cool. And I'm gonna bring up the thematic importance of all this again, so just let me know in the comments section if you're sick of hearing about it, and I'll stop. Also, liking this video and subscribing to the channel will also help that, probably. So will following us on Twitch. It's more than just in the setting where nature and machine have been squished together. Every single one of the Maverick bosses are based on an animal counterpart, and each of their stages is built around their element. I just think it's such a cool idea that machine and nature is kind of integrating seamlessly with each other at this point in the future. And the sprite work it's just phenomenal. Every single character design is just a masterpiece in pixel art. So simple, but so full of personality and detail. Mega Man X's character design in this game is, in my opinion, the single greatest pixelized sprite character model ever. Like ever. That's, yeah, I'm saying it. I don't even know if what I said makes sense. Something that always gets me super excited in games is watching your character progress as you get stronger. And the upgrades to Mega Man's armor and stuff as you obtain each new skill from the bosses, and being able to quickly and seamlessly switch from one to the next with the press of a button is so awesome. All of the skills and attacks and animations, everything is just perfectly designed. So Mega Man X is obviously a game that I love, and I hope that I convince some of you to give it a try for yourself. If you're looking for a totally engrossing story, this might not be the game for you, but if you like really quick, solid gameplay and amazing visuals and awesome music and all that stuff, I think this game holds up really well, even despite its age. Yeah, I'm feeling it as much as I ever did, and I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. I mean, yeah, 9? Yeah. Solid 9. So yeah, there it is. That's our worst to best list for Mega Man X. Let us know what you think, or how you would make your list different from ours, or if we're wrong, or if we're right, or if we got anything wrong, or if we should do anything differently. This is kind of the first video that we've made in our new style, so we're probably going to try to get better, but mostly we're going to embrace our laziness and make things easier on ourselves from now on, because we want to make more than one video per 6 months moving forward. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Off.
We're done. We're done.